Good morning.
Good morning. I'm loving your top today.
Well, it's like 60 some degrees, and so I'm pulling out sweaters and all the I don't know, to me, like having grown up in Wisconsin, it's one of the things that I struggle with in Florida is that there's not really much sweater season down here. And I
You're
love
say, you're saying there's no sweater weather?
no sweater weather. Like we have to take what we can get and turn it into sweater. So even though like it's going to be, I think the high is 74 today, which is pretty low for down here. And I think I can tolerate being in a sweater at 74 degrees. But like the people in Wisconsin are laughing at me because they are 74 degrees is put on your bikini and go to the beach kind of day.
Yeah.
And but I love all the winter clothes. I love sweaters, I love scarves, I love boots. And I'm really sad because those that know, I broke another little toe. And yeah, and so putting closed shoes on my feet doesn't feel good. So I'll be all like winter on top and I'm going to be like flip-flop sandals on the bottom
I mean,
to accommodate my poor little toe.
honestly, that's kind of the Miami vibe. Like you see all the girls that are wearing like Uggs and sweaters with mini skirts. So like it's pretty normal to not have things match.
Totally, yeah.
It's funny because I remember when the kids were little, I was reminiscing the other day, and in South Florida, when it would be like 40, 45, I would bundle them up like hat, scarf, little mittens, thick jacket. And I'd be like, don't take this off till you get in the classroom. And here it's like kind of been averaging in the 30s lately. And I swear to God, my children are trying to kill me. They go outside in like a t-shirt, a light sweater. They're like, it's just a little run from here to there because it is hot. Like once you get inside of whatever building you go to, which can be frustrating. I get it. But as much as I was never a Girl Scout, I'm always planning for what happens when something goes wrong. There's my trauma showing because I'm like, okay, it's all well and good when you get inside of a place, but what if your car breaks down? What if you have to walk a mile? I mean, we're in the middle of nowhere. Like, I don't know. So anyway, they are completely unprepared, but very happy. And
You must put blankets in your car.
do I have blanket? I might have I have like a car in my car. Like I have a lot of stuff in my car. But yeah. I do carry like gloves and a hat and a scarf in a little bag in my purse. So like if at any point I decide I'm cold, I have supplies. They're all very light. It's not heavy. I enjoy it. I like the security of having it. So
Yeah. I laugh sometimes when I go home to Wisconsin in the winter because I have stuff up there, so I don't have to pack much ever when I leave. And so, like all of my winter coats are still up there in the closet. But sometimes I laugh, like my dad or my brother, like, you're coming to pick me up at the airport. Recognize I won't have a coat with me, so put one in the car. And sometimes they bring one, and sometimes they don't. And like, yes, it's a short little walk from the door at the airport to the car, like maybe 15, 20 feet. So
right.
like I'm fine and the car's all heated, and nowadays you got the heated seats and everything. But it is that whole like, what if something goes wrong? Like it's an hour drive home, like anything could happen.
Exactly.
But
I will tell you the one thing that I wish I had, and this sounded very princessy to me until I lived here, is a heated steering wheel. Because I will tell you that in the morning when it's been like in the single digits overnight, I'm literally driving like this with the tips of my fingers. Like, I'm so cold. I'll wear but I'm scared to wear, like I don't want to wear really thick gloves and then not be able to grip the steering wheel. So I wear like, little mittens that are like nice and soft and animal fur and whatnot. But then I'm like, what if I can't get a grip? Like, you can tell my brain goes to like every dark corner. So I leave my fingertips, exposed. I wear like the little half ones. And yeah, so I'm driving with the tips of my fingers and I'm like, man, my next car, we're going to have like the auto start, the heated everything, full package. I don't care what it costs. That's my next purchase.
There you go. There you go. Um, so I had this thing that like threw me for a little bit of like I needed myself to like keep me grounded during this thing. But I got a federal jury summons. And truthfully, it came a while back. And I opened it up and it's like, hey, you got this thing and you got to fill out this questionnaire online. And when I got it, I didn't really have the time to deal with it. So I set it down. And like menopause brain is such a thing. Like I completely forgot about it. So last week I get this letter in the mail. Hey, we've noticed you haven't filled out your questionnaire online yet. And I was like, oh crap. And then I was like looking for the summons. Well, now I can't find the summons anywhere, but there's a number to call on there. And I call and nobody answers. And I'm like, awesome. How does nobody answer at the federal courthouse? But anyway, so I go in to fill out the questionnaire and I'm confused about some questions because of my situation of not technically a business owner. I have a ministry. I have a church and I'm a minister. And so I'm like, it's federal courthouse. Like, I don't want to answer these questions wrong. I don't want to commit perjury. So anyway, I call my advisor to like get clarity on how I should answer the questions. And I go in, I answer the questions, and then I still got a call to find out like when and what and all of that. So I call again and I give them my juror number, and he goes, "Oh, you're self-employed. You're excused." I was like, that was that easy? Yeah, but I spent all this time like worrying about like, what if I get selected? What am I going to do? Like, how am I financially going to survive this if I get selected? How does anybody survive jury duty? Like, unless you're retired or independently wealthy or I don't know what. But like I had like all these questions in my head and I was like, oh, well, I guess I could see, hopefully we don't get sequestered and I can see people on the evenings and I can see people on the weekends. But really, how does anyone like me, like at this age, like if I was young, like, yeah, I could work 24/7, no big deal. I could handle it all. But like, I'm old now. I need my rest. I need my downtime. And like the night before I went and filled out the questionnaire and called them, like literally I got such shitty sleep because I was like in all the things. And then like when it was all over and they're like, you're excused, I was just like, I can't believe I did that to myself. Like, I know better. I know the tools. I know how to calm my nervous system. And I still like completely got myself all worked up. And
I mean, I think you're well within reason to get a little bit worked up. I mean, there's a lot like, just the other day, I gave a little talk in this area and I was talking about like when your brain makes assumptions about other people, like cut yourself some slack. It's your brain's job to be like, okay, I have identified danger. Now let me identify all the paths to and from this danger and how I'm going to survive it. Right. So it's not like your fault, quote unquote. It's your brain doing what it's supposed to do to keep you safe, right? And you were doing it, right? Because if you had been selected, you would have had to use one of those many potential solutions that you just named, right? The nights, the weekends, the things like that. I mean, how and why how people survive jury duty and what's wrong with the system, that's a whole separate podcast. We can't even touch that right now because, the best system in the world still has a whole lot of freaking problems. But I think your brain's just fine. And yes, it is like, I think once we calm down a little bit, then we remember, oh yeah, I've got all of these tools, right? But it takes that minute to kind of like process and be like, wait a minute. Let me not get carried away. Right. And take it step by step. I'm not a step-by-step person. I want to see the finish line before I even start. And I want to know the 7 ways to get there first. And then I'll go. I'm not much for living in the unknown. That's not me. So.
But this does segue into our topic today of why your tools aren't working. And I see this so much. And I laugh very often with my clients. They'll come in and they're in this thing. And I'm like, well, I've taught you about blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh my God, like, yes, I have this tool. And then when I need the tool, I don't pull the tool out and use it. And I think part of the problem that we have in our modern society is we're tied to instant gratification for everything. So I learn a new tool, and if it doesn't instantly solve all of my problems, well, then it's not a very good tool. So let me put this tool down and let me go find another tool. And then the same thing happens with that other tool. And or we learn a new tool and we're like, it's cool in the moment. And then we just, like me, menopause brain, set it down and completely forget that that tool exists. Whereas if we like learn tools and actually connect with them and use them and integrate them into our normal life, that's when they start to show the gift that they are. And so, this goes to, you and I teach people a lot of different tools that they can use. And, oh, excuse the cat. So I feel like we need to give people some tips on how to actually make the tools that they have work. So
yeah. I think ritual for me is a big one, like making it part of my routine. And for someone like me that gets bored super easily, I kind of have to have like a bunch of different rituals that are, I do this for a couple of weeks and then I do that for a couple of weeks and then I try something different. And for me, that keeps it fresh and it helps me keep it top of mind. Because if I do the same thing over and over again, like I just get bored. I mean, I've quit whole jobs because of being bored. Like I'm not the repetitive task kind of person. That and the other thing that came to mind was community. I think there's a lot to be said for, people that go to church every Sunday, right? Like part of that, yes, is community and like bonding with people that feel the way you feel, right? Or believe what you believe, but also the sheer being reminded to do your tasks, right? Use those tools, even if it's just on a weekly basis, so the community nights that you host, even the simple cacao and cards that, we host, things like that, like those are ways to say, I can't remember to do the tool Monday through Friday, but at least on Saturday, I'm going to do this, or whatever it might be, I mean, I know you see a lot of people regularly at all of your events. Do you notice that those that attend frequently have a better handle on things?
absolutely. Like one of the things that I've really loved seeing over, the last, I guess it's the last 2 years now. I can't believe that I've been in my new space for 2 years now. And, so I have like every single month we have cacao ceremony. Every single month we have chakra balancing. Every single month we have community night. And what's been really fun for me to watch is like the people that come regularly. When the new people come in, like they step up and they start sharing what they've learned. And so I think that is like truly a powerful sign that you have integrated what you've learned, is when you then are able to start sharing it with other people. And one of our peeps, I was just like watching her with a smile on my face because she was just teaching everything that we had taught her, and to see her sharing that. And then she saw me watching her and she's like, don't look at me like that. But I'm like, but I'm just like a proud mama right now that, the baby bird has learned how to fly. And so absolutely, like consistency, I think, is one of the most powerful tools in getting consistency as a tool to get your tools to work. Yeah. But it makes such a difference. And, like you said, you don't have to do it every single day. And sometimes you do need to change things up to spark some new energy in there. And, but remember the tools that you have. And like, yes, if you use them consistently for a few weeks, they become part of who you are. And then you can switch to something new and get that more and part of who you are. And then you have these tools that you have like a strong mastery over, that you can pull them out at any time when you need them. And yes, some tools work better in one situation, some tools work better in another one, but you don't know until you actually practice using them and are consistent with them.
Yeah.
So
I think another big part of it is like believing in the tool, right? Like, I always I know I've told the story at least 2 or 3 times on this show, but I taught my kids about singing bowls when they were really little. And one day my daughter gets really mad and I send her to her room and she sits down cross-legged with the singing bowl. And instead of like playing it softly, she whacks it as hard as she can. And she's like, it's not working. You know, she's screaming through the door. And it's a great example on how you can have a tool, but if you're not wholeheartedly committed to the tool and using it the way it's supposed to, it's not going to do the thing you want it to do. You know what I mean? So making sure that you are picking a tool that's aligned with who you are, that fits your belief system, that, you know, you feel like, okay, this is absolutely going to work for me. And then notice the wins. You know, it's so easy to have like a big giant problem, start your tools and then be like, well, you know, my day was a little bit easier, but I still have this looming problem, right? Like, don't miss the fact that your day got a little bit easier, you know, or, you know, my relationship with so-and-so will never be healed, but I did notice that you know, these other relationships have been getting better. Like, give it a second, you know, like you said about instant gratification, right? Like, give it a second and notice where it is working so that you can reinforce to that little brain of ours that's always looking for what's wrong, saying, hey, look, man, this is actually working. Like, look at these amazing things. You know, I always keep my Project 369 journals, and I love going back to the very first one and being like, oh, I did that. I did that. I did that. Like, look how my writing has changed over the years because I did accomplish all of these things that at one point seemed ridiculous, you know, like literally ridiculous. So something like that, I think, could also be really helpful.
Yeah, I think you said a really important word is belief. And because our belief systems shape our reality all day long. And so, you know, I tell my clients, if you don't believe I can help you, I am not going to be able to help you. But if you do believe I'm going to be able to help you, I will be able to help you. And it's the same thing with the tools. If you believe in this tool wholeheartedly, like that tool will support you and help you with whatever you need. But if you've got this tool and you're using it because someone said it would work, but you don't believe it is going to work, it's not going to work.
Exactly right.
You know, and that goes to all areas of our life. Like, look around your life and whatever is in front of you, it is showing you your belief systems. And
which is hard, you know, it's hard to look around and saying I'm responsible for everything, right? These things are not happening to me. They're happening because of me, because of how I got here, how I, you know, put myself in this particular situation, XYZ. How come I always end up with the wrong guy? How come I always end up with the wrong job? How come I always end up with, you know, whatever it might be? Check it, check yourself, you know, and then pick a tool. Pick a tool.
I think it's hard to see that and
oh yeah, it's the hardest.
Take that forward, but it's also the most powerful tool that there is out there. We have a first-time commenter. Hello, America. We love new people on the show, and we love when you comment. We don't need validation, but we love validation. But so, and that's a tool in itself, is changing your belief system. So if you look out and you don't like what you see, check, you know, what belief system has manifested this for me and how can I change that belief system?
Yeah.
Which changing belief systems is not always an easy thing to do. But
yeah, I mean, Explore different belief systems, right? Like
Yeah,
take it light. It doesn't mean you have to give up your entire life. It just means like, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting, whatever that means, right?
absolutely. And it can feel scary, it can feel difficult, but understand, like, underneath it, it is so powerful and so empowering. So when you decide that you're going to accept that responsibility, that you are creating the life that's unfolding in front of you, and you have the power to change that, and it starts with changing your beliefs and then using all the fun tools that we teach you. And I think that's one thing too, is we often look at this stuff as work. And I've really been using this analogy a lot lately, that life here is just a game that we're playing. And when we were kids, we played games for fun. And if we look at this game called life that we're playing and play with it, like with that childlike wonder of fun and what's possible, and just that itself can change how everything plays out for you.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys another story of my daughter. When she was little, I was taking the twins to school, and she was playing Simon. It's like a round disc with the little buttons that light up, and then you imitate the pattern, right? So it goes boop boop boop, and you have to type in boop boop boop, right, like that. And so, and I don't know how old you have to be to know Simon, but hopefully, if you guys aren't familiar with it, Google it. It's very old and it was very cool. Anyway, so my daughter's in the back seat and she's playing this game, and she gets like 4 right, 5 right, and then bang, and even the sound of "you're wrong" is like such a bad sound, right? Man, this terrible sound. And as I'm driving, I'm like, oh man, she must feel so bad. Like she keeps getting it wrong and getting it wrong. And I'm like, I think I need to say something encouraging to her, because, she's got to be feeling in the dumps, because she keeps getting it wrong. So I say, something to the effect of like, Abigail, you're doing such a good job, like it's okay, like don't worry that you're getting it wrong. And she looks at me in the mirror like I'm nuts, and she's like, Mom, it's just how the game is played. And I was like
Out of the
mind
mouth of babes.
out of the mouth of babes, mind blown. And I was like, oh my God, we're supposed to make mistakes. We're supposed to go down the wrong path and then find a different path. We're supposed to feel like crap and then start all over again. Like, and to her, she didn't feel bad at all. She just understood that the goal of the game is to fail at some point and then to start again. And I was like, this is the most profound thing I've ever heard in my life. And it's on the drive to school. Like, this is incredible. What a great lesson, And like all the lessons and all the tools, it's like, I don't know if you've ever seen like NASCAR races where they have these helmets, and the helmets have a visor. And then when the visor gets dirty, you can actually rip off like a film that's on top of the visor. And so every time your visor gets dirty, you just rip off that dirty film and you have a fresh new film. And it's been like a really big deal for safety, obviously, because once your visor's dirty, how the hell do you see? So like, again, what a great metaphor for life. Like when your visor is dirty, you got to rip off that film. And once you rip it off with those tools, with that mindset, with that shift, it's a whole new game. It's a whole new world. Now it might get dirty again, right? Because now you're leveling up. Now you're further along the track. Rip off another piece of film and see clearly again. It's so powerful.
There's like lessons everywhere you look in life. Children bring us lessons, NASCAR brings us lessons. And it is so true that there are, like, everything we need to know is all around us and right in front of us if we just slow down, take a breath, and see and hear and feel. Like, it's all right there in front of us. And that's one of the they talk about the ancient mystery schools, that they had all of this deep knowledge. And yeah, it's great that they had schools that's going to teach you that. But what I also know is you don't have to go to a mystery school to get that knowledge. Like, it's all around us, it's everywhere. And you just have to slow down and be present to capture it. It's like, yeah, you got that lesson from your daughter, but how many people may have had that exact same experience and didn't capture the lesson in it? So good job, Graciela.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not telling you I access it every time I need it. Like, don't get me wrong. I still get pretty darn upset when bad things happen, but it comes
Like
back
me and
when
my jury duty, I lost sleep over it. And I was like, there was the me, like when I got to the other side, how ridiculous. And so we're not perfect. We don't all, right. Even when we know so many tools and we teach other people the tools, we're still human and we still forget them sometimes too.
Well, and this is why I love coaching so much, right? Because like, I always say, like, don't trust a coach that doesn't have a coach. Like, I love coaching. And 9 times out of 10, when I'm in the, like when I'm receiving the coaching, they're telling me things I already know. They're telling me things that I was in such a panic that I forgot, or I was thinking about this and so I forgot about that, and so many times I have reached out to different coaches and said, okay, I know XYZ. What am I not seeing? What's right in front of me that I am missing? And then to someone else, it'll be totally obvious. And they'll be like, well, what about blah, blah, blah? And I'll be, oh my God, wow. Now that you said it, it's so obvious. Let me try that. Right. So that to me is the last layer, ritual, community, and coaching, and if you don't want to go to a community event and air your dirty laundry, pick up someone individually and let someone else see your situation and say, let me show you what I see from the outside, because it's probably way different than what you're seeing on the inside,
Absolutely. Well, and like the coach is kind of the person that peels off the the dirty film. But because you did mention, like, for those who don't want community, but there is so much power in community, because you think you're alone. You think you're the only one that's experiencing what you're experiencing, or the only one that's been through that. But when you show up in community, it's like time and time again, you see that we're all going through the same or very similar experiences. And like when you can have someone there that's already made it through to the other side, they can share the tools that work for them. And you can also see, like, there's hope, there's possibility on the other side of this thing. And like, even though it feels like the end of the world right now, I've got 2 people in front of me who went through this and are doing great now. So if they did it, I can do it too. So there's so much power in community, which is why, like, so many things that I'm doing involve community. The events that we create, the retreats that we create, the sweat lodge that I have here. Like, Sunday we had our last sweat of 2025, and it just like felt so good to know, like, we had completed another year of doing this healing prayer process. And I look back over the year and the things that some of the people had been in there, and the times that had felt like, there were times that energy was so heavy in there that I had to go out. I would go sit out on the, sit on Mother Earth in front of the fire so that I could work really powerfully with both of those elements. But this last sweat, like, people had healed so much during that year in that community, and the energy in there just felt so much lighter. And but it was because of the consistency, as doing this every month and showing up for ourselves, showing up for each other, showing up for humanity. And it's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. This has been another wonderful episode.
And so many good episodes. Like, if you like this but you hadn't listened to us before, go back. There's, I think, this is episode like 296, 297, something crazy like that. And just so many good episodes out there. And I love like watching, you know, because I go back and check out like how we're doing, who's checking out our episodes. And you know, like sometimes someone goes back and like listens to episode 9 and it's like, oh wow, I forgot we even had episode 9. And but there is a lot of wisdom, a lot of comfort, a lot of inspiration. Whatever you're seeking, you can find it in one of the episodes there. So go back
Yeah, and for the new folks, you know, there are archives of episodes that had guests. You know, back in the day, we had guests for a while, and those have even more wisdom in it. You know, because it's stuff that we didn't know or we didn't put out there. So definitely check those out. There's a lot of guests that are really, really fascinating. Yeah, good times.
So, and then because we're getting short on the timeline here, there's just a few weeks left to sign up for the Wild and Free Retreat, January 9th through the 11th, down here in Sebastian, Florida. Very magical place. And those that know I am a Gaia TV lover, and I was watching a series that I hadn't seen before. And the very first episode, I'm like, wait, they're at Chosen.
Oh wow, look at that.
And like sure enough, it was they were at Chosen and talking about a lot of the you know, it's not just a retreat center. They really are tuned into Mother Earth and protecting her. And you know, because our life is dependent on the care and life of Mother Earth, and like we should be treating her like we treat, you know, our human mother. We should be treating the planet mother with the same love and care. And so if you'd like to learn some more tools or learn how to integrate more of the tools that you already have into your life and spend a magical weekend, you know, connecting with Mother Earth, we do have some spots left. So reach out, check it out on the website, the bodyandsoulevents.love. You can find that information there. And if you have any questions at all about it, you know, reach out. We'd be happy to talk to you about it. So, all right. I think that's a wrap.
All right. Well, I hope everyone has an awesome, awesome day. And if anything about today's episode was interesting or you have something to add, please put it in the comments. We do read them all. We will reply to them all. So it really does make our day.
All right. Have a magical day, everyone.